What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to our channel, Meet the Teats. My name is Melissa. Welcome back to another Moving Monday video. We are your favorite moving mentors, where we help you move across the country through videos like this and one-on-one consultations. So in today's video, we are talking about all things budget, okay? Now, this is the kickoff of a video series here on our channel where we will be talking about your budget when moving to Dallas. Moving across the country cannot be cheap sometimes, okay? Depending on where you're coming from. It can be very expensive. And that is a lot of people's obstacles when they are trying to relocate with the money. How much do I save? How much am I going to spend? How much does it cost? That can really be a roadblock for some people to relocate to Texas. So we're going to be talking about it. For the next 3 videos, we're going to be talking about different budgeting categories, how much to save in each category, and then some tips and ways on how you can save money so that you can relocate to Dallas stress free. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into video 1, and today we're going to be talking about the budgeting categories. Now, before we jump in, let me just tell you what a budgeting category is. Okay, now I use budgeting categories just in our regular schmegular budgeting system that we use, but I said, you know what, we can definitely apply this to moving. So I came up with 6 categories that you should be saving when it comes to your relocation to Dallas. Okay, now a budgeting category is just you have your large lump sum of money that you plan on saving and just breaking it down into different categories so you can make sure that you are ready and equipped and have enough finances for that particular category. Okay, so that's what a budgeting category is, but some things to remember. Okay? Everyone is not going to have the same budgeting categories. It really just depends on your specific plan, your specific move, okay? And this is why it's important to have a moving mentor so that we can walk you through what are your specific needs for your particular move. Because everyone's move to Dallas, although we're all moving to the same place, everyone's move is really specific, is really it's not cookie cutter, and it's very specific to you. And also, you may not need every single category that I'm going to mention today, but I think that these are the main 6 categories that most people need when relocating to Dallas. So let's go ahead and get into today's budgeting categories. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to let you know that we have a freebie with today's video. You guys, in the description box, there is a free Moving to Dallas budgeting category worksheet, you guys, that I created to help you budget and plan your move in your categories in a very organized way. Okay, if you'll learn about me, that I am all about the paper and pencil, all about the planning, all about the budgeting. So I figure, you know, let me give you guys a tool to help you get your categories in order, jot down things that belong in each category so that you can start saving and budgeting effectively. All right, you guys, so category number 1 is housing. Okay, when people move to Dallas, the first thing they want to know is, where am I going to live? Where should I live when it comes to relocating to Dallas? So when I say housing, I'm not just talking about finding an apartment, saving for that. I'm not just talking about buying a house and saving for that. I'm talking about the little intricate micro levels when it comes to housing when living in Dallas. Some things you'll have to budget and save for is obviously your down payment, okay? Your down payment on your apartment or your down payment on your home. When you get here, you may have to deal with some repairs, so you may have to save and budget for home repairs, different home projects that you may want to accomplish. When you move in, I'm sure you're going to have to clean up, okay? So you want to put in your budget for buying cleaning supplies once you move here. And if you plan on moving into a home, more than likely they're going to have something called an HOA, which means that your lawn is going to have to be manicured and taken care and groomed, okay? So lawn care is something that you may have to consider to put in your budget when it comes to housing, especially when you don't know the state of the lawn that it will be in once you move here. So lawn care is something that you're going to have to probably put in the budget. And then also things like furniture. If you plan on moving with very little and you want to rebuild your furniture once you move here, putting that into the housing budget category is very, very important. And then also things like groceries, you want to make sure you having enough groceries in the fridge once you move here, so you want to add that to your housing budget. So those are just some examples of things that you need to be saving for before you move to Dallas. And budgeting category number 2 is transportation. Now this kind of goes twofold, okay? Because you got to think about, how are you transporting yourself to Dallas, okay? Are you driving your car? Are you getting your cars transported? Are you driving a U-Haul? How do you plan on transporting yourself to here, okay? Are you getting on an airplane? Are you flying? So you're going to have to put all these things into the budget. Think about, how much would these things cost in order for me to relocate to Dallas successfully. And then when you get here, if you do have a vehicle, you got to get your car registered. You got to get past the inspection. All of that costs money, you guys. You got to think about gas. You got to realize, okay, is the gas cheaper here in Dallas than where you are, or is it more expensive? And if you don't have a vehicle, you got to think about public transportation. So will you be on the DART? Will you be on the bus? Will you take the different public transit systems around Dallas? Or will you be taking Uber or Lyft? Those are all things that you should implement into your transportation budget category. And category number 3, which are utilities. Now, the utilities and rent or mortgage, you all know, are not one of the same, okay? And there may be utilities that you have to pay for when you move to Dallas that you're not paying for now in your current place that you're living at. Like, for example, we did not pay for heat in Milwaukee. Okay, but when we moved here, yeah, we had to pay for heat. So that was something that we didn't really think about before we moved here, and how we did not incorporate that into our budget. But now we know, and of course, this is why we're doing this, so that you can learn from our mistakes. So you don't have to make the same mistakes we did. So utilities can be things like your energy bill, okay? And there are different energy companies here in Texas, so that's something you'll have to figure out when you move, and what area you move, which energy company you'll go with. So you have your energy bill, you have your water bill, you have trash. Yes, you guys, you have to pay for trash, okay? Now that was unheard of where we came from, but when we moved to Dallas, that's a thing, okay? You have to pay for trash. Pest control, we didn't pay for pest control. That was not really much of a thing where we're from, but here in Texas, you better have your pest control, okay? So pest control is something that you need to incorporate into the budget. And also, this may not apply to everyone, but you have to think about any utilities that you are past due on in your current city. Because more than likely, you're not going to be able to open up a new energy bill or a new utility bill when you have past due bills in the current city that you're in. So you want to get all of that cleared up before you move to Dallas. So this utility category is very important, because it's going to be pretty much for anyone and everyone across the board if you plan on renting or buying a home. So let's review, okay? Let's review what we learned so far. So far we know that we need category budgets for our transition to Dallas, okay? To help us break down our overall arching budget, to help us spread our money out evenly, and to make sure that we are equipped and ready to go when it comes to moving to Dallas, okay? So category number 1 was housing. Category number 2 was transportation. And category number 3 are utilities. Now let's go ahead and get into category number 4. And category number 4 is food, okay? Now this may not seem like it should be its own category, but let me tell you, yes, y'all, this needs to be a category of its own, okay? This may seem like a no-brainer, but let me explain why this is its own category, okay? Do not, and I repeat, do not do the same mistakes that we did in the past when we were moving here. We packed up the kitchen first. Why would we do that, okay? We packed up the kitchen first. Everything was sealed, taped up, solid, like not breaking in it at all. And we had like 3 more weeks left before we moved. So that means for almost 3 weeks, we were eating out, we were going to restaurants, we were dining in, and it got really expensive. So for my advice to save some money is to just simply pack up your kitchen last so that you can make sure you're eating at home while you're packing and you're getting ready for your transition to Dallas, okay? So that's one of my extra tips, okay? But when it comes to food, you have to think about, so when it comes to category number 4, you got to think about the traveling food, okay? Now, when I say traveling food, literally your transition to Dallas, okay? However you're going to do that, by air, you're driving a U-Haul, you're driving your car, whatever that may be, you're going to have to stop and get food and stop and, you know, gas up and stop at the gas station and get snacks. So that's an expense, okay, that you may not have really thought about until you're in the heat of the moment, okay, until you're in that moment. So you can put a couple $100s aside, or however big your family is, depending on how much that budget needs to be, to the side for food, for money that you're just going to use for food when it comes to actually you traveling to Dallas, okay? And then also you got to think about, when you move here, you're going to have an empty fridge. So you're going to have to do that first grocery shop. That means you're getting all of your pantry staples, all of your essentials in your fridge and your freezer. And you guys, that can cost a lot of money sometimes, okay, depending on how big your family is. And I noticed when we first moved here that groceries were a lot cheaper than up north, but nowadays it seems like everything is overpriced. All the food has hijacked, the prices have gone up. So you got to think about, you know, that first grocery haul. How much money am I going to use for groceries just to get the basic staples, the basic necessities that I need in my refrigerator, my freezer, and my pantry? All right, you guys, so category number 5. Now, this category can easily get looked over, and this is why I am adding it to our 6 budget categories. Now, when it comes to category number 5, it's health, okay? Because when it comes to your health, you got to realize that if you had health insurance before you end up moving, okay, with your previous job, you may lose your health insurance as you're transitioning to your new job in Dallas, okay? And you want to make sure you're covered by some type of health insurance, because you never know what could possibly happen with your health. So you want to make sure you're covered, right? So what we did is we applied for health at healthcare.gov for healthcare. And this, again, was an expense that we did not have planned. And it really kind of shook us a little bit. We're like, whoa, this is kind of expensive, you know, and we had to pay out of pocket. And, you know, we, at that time, our jobs did not have health insurance. We were not covered yet. And it was a real expense that we had to deal with. So we're adding this as a category simply so that you can remember, start putting a little bit to the side. So if you do have to go to like healthcare.gov or whatever, then you can have some money saved up, so you're not taking money from other areas, other categories, or even from your savings. And category number 6, the last category we're going to talk about today, the last budget category, are your personal things, okay? Personals. This is the last budget that we're going to talk about today. Now, your personals can include all things that concern you or your children or your spouse. So that can be the extra fluffy things. That can be the things that are not necessarily a necessity, but it's something that makes you comfortable, especially when moving to a new city. So that could be shopping for things in your home to make your home feel homey again, or joining a gym membership, okay? It could be things like finding a nail salon or getting your hair cut. All of those things are expenses that you could be saving for now. So when it comes to getting your nails done, going home shopping to make your house cozy, you can already have money set aside that you can use instead of pulling from your other categories or from your savings. And also, depending on when you're coming down, your kids may need new uniforms, or they may need new school clothes, or they may need you know, shorts and t-shirts and things like that. So this is a category that you can kind of put aside for your personals. Things that you may not necessarily need, but you may want to make your transition as comfortable as possible. So what are your next steps? Because those are the 6 categories, the 6 budget categories that you should start saving for now before you transition to Dallas. So your next steps is this. Head to our description box, download the free Moving to Dallas budget category worksheet, and start jotting down some of these subcategories that are in these major 6 categories. And come back next week as we talk about an actual system that you can use, so that you can be sure that you are fulfilling each of these categories and putting the proper amount in each category, okay? So you guys, let me know in the comment section below if this video blessed you, if this video was helpful for you, because I really enjoy doing videos like this, equipping you guys so that you can have the most successful transition to Dallas, Texas, okay? And again, if you're looking for a moving mentor, Chris and I will love to mentor you on your relocation to Dallas, help you come up with your plan of action, help you solidify your budget, help you find your dream home, your dream apartment, whatever that may be for you. You know, we would love to help you with that. So be sure to check out our description box. All the information is there to connect with us, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.